in the room. There were all these instruments lying about, and I just happened to wind up the violin. That was good, like right away.
Which is unusual, you know. It's considered one of the hardest
instruments. The
music
music teacher called my mom and said he had never heard anybody play fiddle like that after just picking it up.
Huh? Because usually it can sound awful if somebody doesn't know what they're doing and they just pick it up.
I remember when I was like 2 years later, I'd been taking lessons for a while, and I went to some contest, one of those Kiwanis things. And I remember coming in second place, and it irked me.
At age 8?
Yeah. So my parents moved to France, so I studied there with another teacher for 2 years.
Why did they move to France?
My dad worked in the government. He had different jobs because my dad loved languages. My dad speaks like 6 languages, so we did that as a family. It was neat.
You liked it there?
Oh, I loved it. It was great. When I came back, I had this teacher. I found this teacher at the National Arts Center Orchestra called Vic Palmer. That guy was a great teacher, and I was with him for 5 years, basically all my teenage years.
And what specific things did you learn from him?
He taught me that playing violin can be broken down into tiny little, easy-to-learn technical units that build on each other like little Lego bricks until you have these big structures of technique where you can play Paganini caprices and shit like that. He's kind of a crusty dude, which made me think he was cool, and he was kind of tough, you know. He's a nice dude, nice old guy. And
music teachers are famous for being kind of crusty.
Yeah, he was great. But he made me feel like it was cool to play fiddle. Even though none of my friends thought it was, I knew he was cool, and so he made me feel like it was cool. But he made me practice. Like, he basically took me on one side and said, if he's not practicing, this is when I was 11, he said, if he's not practicing an hour and a half a day, I don't want to see him. And my mom made me practice, too.
And was that hard? Did you resist?
Yeah, of course I did. But I did. Yeah, I remember trying to tape myself on a machine once. I was trying to tape myself so I could play it back and go out and play with my friends. My mom would think I was practicing. It took me 45 minutes to record a half-hour lesson. And then by the end of it, I think the machine got stuck and the tape got stuck in the machine. My mom's like, you haven't really been practicing for the last half hour. You've just been messing around with that machine. So it all came to nothing. So that was kind of the beginning and end of my cheating, I suppose. Well, that was good. He said I should go to Indiana, which is, in his opinion, the best music school in the world. And it had the most famous violin teacher then living, whose name was Joseph Gingle. And he was a really famous teacher. I never actually studied with him. But I had some pretty hard teachers there. They were good. They kind of took the technical stuff I had from Vic Palmer and then just kind of, you know, took it in outer space, but not in a very nice way. Like, they were kind of like, it was like a machine there, you know. And I just totally lost interest. So I just quit, and I got a degree in business from McGill, and I came home to Canada. And I didn't touch it. I gave it up for dead. I didn't play for 4 years.
4 years?
Yeah. Huh. And then when I came back to it, I realized, like, I still had all this technique, but I didn't have any of the hang-ups. I didn't hate it. And I could improvise easily. Like, I found improvising easy.
Was that the kind of thing you were taught, or was it the kind of thing you steered away from?
Neither.
Really?
Vic never taught me to never steered me away from anything. He was just he taught me like a machine. But I don't know. I somehow managed to forget all the hang-ups and all the fear and all the tightness in my arms and in my back that I was starting to get at music school. And I could still play really well. I mean, you know, I maybe forgot 5% of what I knew, the top 5%, but I could still get everything out. And so there wasn't anything really that I couldn't play. And I could improvise. Like, there was nothing I couldn't catch by ear and play. Like, it was easy. And, you know, I think bluegrass was just something that other musicians were playing that was an excuse for me to go out and have fun and play. Like, it could have been anything.
But it's not a tremendously popular style of music.
Yeah, that's true, but there's a bit of a scene around it. Like, there's always a little scene, and there's always kind of interesting characters in the scene who are really into it.
But it's a small scene.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a scene you're likely to stumble into.
No, you gotta, I mean, the only reason I could get in is because there wasn't anything I couldn't play. And even though I didn't really know the style, like, people could put music in front of me and tell me to play it, and just, I'd play it, you know, perfectly the first time. I'd still sound classical, so I spent years trying to, like, figure out the subtleties and the nuance and the sound, you know, so I could sound like a country player, not like a classical player. So I feel like I've spent like half my adult life just disguising shit that I know, which is fine. I wouldn't really have it any other way.
So you're in Montreal, you're playing bluegrass, and what was the next step after that?
Well, the next step after that is I heard Irish music for the first time. I was right around the same time I started playing bluegrass, and it just blew my mind. I'd never fucking heard Irish fiddle playing. I'd played violin for 13 years. I'd put 10,000 hours into practicing violin at that point. I'd never heard an Irish fiddle play.
So how did you
recording of Kevin Burke? Some guy gave it to me and said, "Hey, you should learn these tunes." And it blew me away. I was like, "Holy shit, I can't believe a fiddle sounds like that." Like, it blew my mind. I couldn't believe that anyone could make a violin sound like that. I just had so much groove and rhythm that I was kind of instantly obsessed. It's kind of like watching Jesse Zubot. It was like this moment where it's like, I haven't listened to that much Kevin Burke since, although probably I actually have, but it was just like a moment in time. It was kind of like some light went on, and I was like, oh shit, that's what a fiddle sounds like. So to me, it's kind of like I always sort of associate Irish music and bluegrass music as being really similar. And I don't think I'm totally off base, because most of that, all the fiddle stuff came to North America by way of Scotland and Ireland.
Absolutely,
right?
yeah.
So I mean, it's kind of the same shit. It's just that the style and the way it's played is obviously different. I always look for similarities in kind of the rhythms, the choice of notes, that kind of stuff.
So did you go about learning some of these Irish fiddle tunes?
I did. I jumped into instead of getting a job in business, I called some guys who I knew who needed a fiddle player, and they gave me a job working in an Irish band. And I played that band for 5 years. I played probably 11 or 1,200 pub gigs in that time.
Doing what kind of tunes?
Oh, popular, like Irish pop music. When I say Irish pop music, I mean like traditional drinking songs, and then medleys of fiddle tunes. The banjo player was really good. He was really into fiddle tunes. So I got introduced to this whole world of kind of Irish tunes and bluegrass tunes all at the same time, and I got to play them too. And I worked my ass off for that band. I would drive 3 hours to Kingston, set up a 1970s piece of sound equipment, play 3 one-hour sets, and drive home. Get home at 5 in the morning, and I'd make like $50. And I do that like literally every Friday and Saturday night, because we never stayed over there because they didn't pay us enough, so we couldn't afford a hotel room. So we'd drive there and back, there and back. Did that all the time.
So what kept you going? If they were paying you so little.
Well, I mean, I lived in Montreal, man. My rent was $250.
Right. But still, that's a lot of driving. That's a lot of effort. Like,
yeah,
was the playing itself enough to?
I just wanted to be a musician. I just wanted to be a professional. Like, I couldn't imagine doing anything else. So it was like, and I enjoyed every minute of it. Like, it was kind of crazy and a little intense, but
even though you'd stuck it out for 4 years of a business degree.
Yeah.
Like, what was the moment where you just thought, business is just not for me?
I had on a suit. I had 20 different resumes, each one tailored specifically to a different bank branch. I was going to try to get an entry level as a clerk. I just looked at myself in the mirror, I looked at the resumes, I looked at my suit, and I said, I can't do this, man, there's no way. So and then within 5 minutes, I called those guys and said, look, I'll do anything to work with you guys. And I said, hey, as luck would have it, we're just recording this Gypsy album. We need a fiddle player to come in and do some stuff, and we have a couple of gigs. And I just jumped in, I just jumped in and tried to learn as much as I could, as quickly as I could. I got embarrassed a few times.
What do you mean by Gypsy album?
The mandolin player, he was really into all these old gypsy tunes he played on mandolin. And he knew that I could play that stuff, because the whole classical gypsy thing, like the Brahms, Hungarian dances and all that stuff, like I had great vibrato and like good tone, so I could really play that stuff quite beautifully. And then he just taught me all the Irish stuff and bluegrass stuff and pop stuff.
At what point did you move to Toronto?
Once I got sick of Montreal, that band kind of imploded a little bit, and so I decided I needed to change the scenes. I just wasn't happy. So I came to Toronto, and I played music with a guy here called Mike Rossiter, who gave me a ton of gigs when I first came to town. So.
Is there generally a demand for fiddle players in the music scene? I mean,
yeah.
But like the world of music is probably lousy with guitar players.
Yeah. But the thing is that there's a lot of fiddle, because people like strings. Strings always kind of go in a cycle, but there's always music. Like country music used to be all about strings. Now it's not so much. Now actually country music is about guitar.